Hopefully you're all having a great day. Remember that if you do enjoy the content, to like, share, and subscribe. Chapter 11, Immortal Love. Trees pass by in a blur as you and Kieran flee into the woods, though still disoriented from the effects of the poisonous night folly plant. Spread out. We can't let them get away. Kieran can barely stand, but still he turns in the direction of the threat. Grab hold of him, your eyes wild and questioning. Kieran, stop. What are you doing? That deceitful snake sold out the realm for a title. I can't let her think she's won. You stay here, I will return. Kieran, you can't fight like this. You can barely walk straight, and you don't have all your magic. I have enough. Enough to take down Opulence in all regards. Enough to face Jack, who we know is on his way. Please, my love. I hate this as much as you do, but to face our enemies in this weakened state would only be doing them a favor. We must do what Oleander said. Find a place to hide until we recover. We can rejoin the others when we're safe. If they haven't been captured. The bitterness in his voice makes you flinch, but even worse is the creeping note of despair at its core. Yes, if they haven't been captured. You hear a desperate chirping and raise your eyes to the sky just in time to catch Merlin. They dive to hug your chest. Merlin, where's Longclaw?
Your friend Sin here. Say protect.
What? How did she tell you? She can't. No, that's not important. Right now, Merlin, is Longclaw alright?
Bad. Loud. But thinned.
Try to fight the sinking feeling in your chest. She wanted you to be with us. That must mean... He pulls you into a tight embrace, silencing you with the strong, gentle beat of his heart. It means she wanted Merlin to be safe along with us. She would have wanted that whether the outcome seemed dire or not. I suppose that's true. Merlin, can you take a quick look around for us to see if our friends are nearby? But be careful.
Merlin, go.
Merlin launches themselves into the sky again. Several minutes later, they return, dropping fearfully into your pocket.
No friend, only bad.
You only saw the bad people who were chasing us?
Bad people chase.
Very well, then. We move. And hope for the best. You trudge unsteadily onward, knowing nothing of what lies ahead except that it is away from your enemies and from your dearest friends. You walk for what feels like hours. The draining effect of the pollen wears off with agonizing slowness, only for exhaustion to take its place. As the moon rises, the sky opens up into a downpour, drenching you both to the bone and making each step a muddy slog. Where are we? I do not know this part of the woods well. Even though through the rain you can hear the distant shouts of Opulence's guards calling to each other, still seeking you. At least the rain will wash away our trail. Kieran, recovering faster with the sun's decline, wraps an arm around you and frowns, realizing you're shaking. You're exhausted. You need food and rest. But where can we go? We'll have to find shelter, but I don't have enough magic yet to fly us to safety. As you waver on your feet, an indignant, soaking, wet leaf appears on a branch before you.
Finally. You know how long I've searched the forest for lost Ella. In wet duck.
You were looking for us?
Whole forest no bird caught spies, say friends of leaf in trouble. I you no call help.
I didn't. We couldn't alert the guards.
Guards close. You no fly, Raven Prince.
Not currently, no.
You need flight?
Right now, we need to lie low.
Welcome stay at Bird Court. Give shelter, best hospitality, warm nest, mini bugs.
Kieran lifts his brow at you and subtly shake your head. Thank you, Leaf, but We wouldn't want it in prose. I'm sure we would take up a lot of space.
Raven Prince too big, perhaps, but make room for Friend of Leaf. I'll bear leaves for night.
Another time, perhaps.
Mortal village not far. Not grand like Birdcourt, but safe for Ella, Raven Prince.
They flaps her wings and what almost passes for shrug.
Mortals hate him. Shall look better, not like wet red.
I'll take that under advisement. A small yawn comes from your pocket. Merlin sticks their head out, blinking their large eyes as they look at Leaf.
Why you have flying rat, Ella?
Merlin isn't a rat, or a thistlebat from the Moon Palace catacombs.
Rat relations very tense, no except King of Birds authority.
We certainly want to get in the middle of that. Merlin is a very good bat who has decided to live with us. They're really quite nice. Merlin hisses at Leaf.
Bad bird.
We shall have to open peace talks when we return to the Moon Palace. Clearly. I hate to ask, Leaf, but is there any way we could get your assistance with our pursuers?
Oh, bird army help. Draw stupid fat fail. Wild goose chase.
Thank you. But tell your birds to be careful. Opulence will stoop to any low on our allies with iron weapons.
No need to worry. Birdcourt very good at job. I go home, warm dry nest. You do same.
Leaf shakes the water off her feathers with a look of utter disgust. Flies off in a sodden night. He's right. The trees are thinner up ahead. I can see lights. That must be the village Leaf mentioned. But would that village be safe for you? I don't know if mortals at the edge of Fey Forest would be terribly welcoming to a Fey. Safer than staying here. I'll take my chances. Some say I'm quite good with mortals. You're good with one mortal. If you're sure. I am. If there's one place Jack and Opulence would never think to look for us, it would be a mortal village. But as you near the stone walls surrounding the village, Kieran recoils. What's wrong? Iron. This is even more iron than the wall in my old village. Will it hurt you? Not physically, but being inside a circle of iron will weaken me. I won't be able to do any magic, however. It will also shield us from Opulence. If the mortals there are anything like the ones I grew up with, they'll be suspicious of any outsiders coming from the woods. I suppose we can pretend to be travelers who ran into trouble on the road, but with these fake clothes, your ears... I can help with that. With a careful gesture, Kieran conjures striking traveling clothes for himself, complete with a hood that covers his pointed ears. Hey, I like it. And of course, I would not forget you, beloved. You look down to see the cloudy night sky. Dappled moonlight have wrapped themselves around you to form a matching ensemble. But you're magic. I have enough left for this. It takes a trickle of power to maintain the glamour once it is cast. Wear this disguise diamond choice. You did well, copying mortal fashion. It'll definitely help sell our story. So long as you take care of the line, beloved. Open your pocket, rousing Merlin within. I'm sorry, Merlin, but you won't be safe where we're going. Can you wait in the woods until we return?
Friend safe.
We'll be just fine. We'll return for you as soon as we can. With a final chirp of concern, Merlin climbs out of your pocket and disappears into the dark trees. Rain pelting your face, you and Kieran make your way to an iron gate in the wall. Kieran gestures to you, frowning. You'll have to... I cannot touch it. Kieran's jaw works as you move past him, sensing the tension within him as he glances backward to check the tree line. Are you alright? I cannot stand feeling powerless. I know. But we're stepping into my world now, Kieran. You'll have to let me take lead and protect you for a change. I know that I must, but that does not mean I must enjoy it. Ah, you're merely having the shoe on your foot for once. Your hands slip on the wet iron hinge as you fumble it open with a rusty creak. Step through. Stop! You and Kieran both freeze as the two night watchmen approach from the village, peering suspiciously at you with light of the lanterns. Good evening, gentlemen. We're not accustomed to welcoming visitors from this side of the wall. Especially not this time of night. Who are you? What brings you to Green Lick Village in such a foul weather? Kieran sends you a look, smoothly jumping to your cover story. Oh, thank goodness. Apologies for the late hour, good sirs, but we are in dire need of help. You see, we were set upon by brigands. Our carriage was attacked by wicked thieves, and all our belongings stole. We barely escaped with our lives. Despite being soaked through, the two guards take in your disguise, and their expressions instantly become sympathetic. The woods are certainly no place to spend such a horrid night. Hurry now! Both out of this infernal rain. The guards shut the gate behind Kieran, and you allow yourself a momentary sigh of relief. Do you have somewhere to pass the night, friends in town? Alas, we do not. If you could point us in the direction of the nearest inn. Watchman points out a large building ahead, windows lit cheerily from within. Go on and see old Nick. Get you all fixed up with some warm grub and a room for the night. Thank you, kindly. The watchmen tip their hats to you and continue on their rounds as you and Kieran head towards the inn. I never tire watching you spin lives like you are. It's endlessly entertaining. Actually, that was kind of like half-truth. Technically, we were attacked, and technically our belongings were stolen. Well, and you did well keeping quiet. They didn't even look twice at you. Kieran gives you a mischievous smirk. I suppose I will have to get used to letting you do the talking. The golden glow comes from the fogged glass and set in the door and flying stag inn, and the music spills out through the windows. A very human. Remember, you're not a prince here. Follow my lead. The great door creaks open, and an old man with a smiling, age-lined face peers out. Welcome to the Flying Stag Inn Tavern. I'm Nick, and this here is my place. Were you in need of a room? Something to eat? Desperately, good sir. Although, and a sudden worried look to Kieran and a sinking realization hits. I'm afraid we don't have any money. But Nick waves away your apology with a wrinkled hand. Oh, need not worry. You can work on off in the morning. You'll catch your death in these wet things. Have you got any bags? Horses need tending? We have only what you see before you. Nick comes closer, taking in Kieran with his head cocked to one side. Is your husband quite well? Looks a bit gaunt. He's recovering from an illness. Oh, you do look a little under the weather. The rain can't be helping things. No, it certainly has not. Well, these old bones don't move like they used to, but let me see if I can't rustle you up some supper. Inside the inn, it's like any another world entirely. Patrons drink and laugh as a bard plucks out lively notes from a small harp. Oh, I'll spin you a tale of the Borgest and Bildum, a witch who lived in the woods. Oh, not this again. Nick beckons you past the other patrons and up to a large ledger that sits on the bar. You've come to the right place, friends. The Flying Stag's got the best rooms around. None better, you'll see. Now, where in the world did I put the... aha! Places a large brass key on the top of a gnarled counter. Are you certain? We can pay you back. It's just that... Oh, nonsense. Never seen somebody more in need of a hot meal and a warm bed. Sorry, what did you say your names were again? We didn't. I am Kieran, this is Ella. Well met, don't worry. will be nice to have some extra hands around here, that'll be sure. Nick goes digging under the bar again. Let me just grab your key. You eye the key on the counter, sharing a small look with Kieran. The faraway look at his eyes tells you he's thinking of Sir Monty. Not sure where it's run off to. Prompt him. I think it's... You nod gently towards the counter. Nick blinks at the key as if hearing from nowhere. Why, thank you. Ella. Thank you, Ella. Anyway, our best room for the lovely newlyweds. Newlyweds? Nick gives you a sly smile as he presses the key into Kieran's hand. I know two people in love when I see them. Come along now, I'll get you some dinner and show you to your room. Nick leads you to a comfortable room upstairs and struggles to kneel before the cold hearth. Oh, I can do that. Ah, thank you, Ella. You two sleep well now. As you bend to strike the fire, Kieran watches you with veiled interest, waiting until Nick leaves you alone behind a closed door before speaking. Is it how mortals must start fires? Well, yes, of course. Come here, I'll show you. He kneels beside you, eyes on your hands as you use flint and steel to strike sparks into a bundle of kindling. Everything you see here is what my life was like before I came to live with you, though this tavern is much nicer than the one I grew up. You have told me some same things, but it is different to see with my own eyes. Let me try. His hands are hesitant at first, but he mimics your movements stubbornly until the spark catches, producing a thin curl of smoke. How reliant I have always been on magic. You must think me rather coddled. You're not nearly as coddled as most princes. You've known many, then? Oh, dozens. The hearth fills the room with a welcome warmth, and you eagerly tuck into your meal while your wet clothes hang near the fire. Blast. It seems just as wet as before. Kieran squeezes water out of his shirt, glaring at the resulting cascade. Welcome to a world without magic, Kieran. He laps gratefully onto the downy bed. Kieran comes to lie beside you, drawing you close to warm your bare skin with his. We're lucky to find this place. Feel all more guilty that we are safe and warm and only Ender and Longclaw could still be out there. Do you think they made it out alright? I'm confident they did. Oleander was all exiled for a long while. They can survive on their own, and Longclaw is... a bear? Kieran strokes your back in comforting circles. His gaze is distant and thoughtful. Why did that man believe me to be your husband? Oh, well, he saw me hold your hand, and most mortals would assume that two people traveling together and sharing a room are married. Are mortal relationships always so formal? Most of the time... Weddings are important milestones. They're big celebrations. Both sides of the family, or often the whole village, come together to wish a new couple well. They're usually joyful affairs that you remember forever. The start of the new lives together. Is it very different for Fae? It is uncommon for Fae to want their relationships to be bound in such a way. We can court for years, live together for decades, and change partners without much of a fuss, but a vow among Fae is unbreakable. True for mortals as well. Or at least you hope it will be. When your life is short, milestones like weddings matter a lot. A proposal of marriage means that no matter how much time you have, you want all of it to be at your love's side. And then there's the wedding night, of course, where everything changes. What do you mean? You find yourself suddenly flushed, unable to meet his intent gaze. For many mortals, the wedding night is the first time they are intimate with someone. A crease forms between his brow, and you find yourself stumbling over your words. They, even if they've done that before, the wedding night is different, special. Do you wish to have a wedding night, Ella? What? Kieran's hand drifts to your waist, slow and searing. When I spoke of engagement at a tea party, I didn't realize this ceremony holds a greater significance to you than it does me.
Do you regret playing along then?
No, I will never. I don't wish you to miss such an important milestone.
We could still have a wedding night one day.
Kieran leans in to kiss your throat. Soft, warm, full of promise. True, but we could also have one right now. Okay. You need your rest. I chose not to do it. Because it's just gonna be bound chicken wow wow and I'm gonna have to skip over most of it because of YouTube. Me.
You can barely keep your eyes open. You spent all your energy protecting us. It's okay to rest now. We're safe.
Kieran pulls you close, banding an arm around your waist and burying his face into your neck, mumbling against your skin. I'm usually the one who tires you out.
There's always time for that later.
The rest of our lives.
Well, the rest of my life at least.
Kieran's body grows heavy and lax, but even in sleep, he does not ease his hold. Together you drift off beneath the soft quilt sounds of the storm outside. A new day dawns clear and bright, and when you and Kieran head downstairs, Nick appears to be serving the handful of patrons solo. Ah, the happy newlyweds. I trust you slept well.
Very well, thank you.
We would like to begin repaying your hospitality. Have you a task we may complete for you?
Nick mops up a spill with a bar towel and slings it over his shoulder.
Well, now, that depends. You any good with horses?
My mare, Tasha, threw a shoe last night.
Storm agitated her. She's a temperamental nag at the best of times and extra ornery this morning. I can handle her.
You sure?
There's always dishes that need washing.
Kieran has a way with horses. Smile at him, remembering the way he handled his mount during the grand hunt, and he smirks back at you.
I do excel at bringing troublemakers in line.
He has a rare gift.
I give you my word that your mare is in safe hands.
Well, now, that's mighty good to hear, but you be careful now. He's a strong hand, or she'll run circles round you.
I will keep that in mind.
With Nick's directions, you find the blacksmith's shop easily. Kieran, leading the difficult mare with a calm confidence, reins firmly in hand.
Hush, now, don't make trouble.
Hello, we're looking for the blacksmith?
Oh, why do you look familiar?
That'd be me. Name's Esme. Nick sent word last night that he might be sending somebody.
The woman lets go of her hammer, which hangs loosely from a chain in the ceiling, stands to greet you.
Oh. Cool, mechanical arm. But also you look very familiar. The intricate mechanisms of the left arm move elegantly. She reaches out to greet the horse.
Esme hushes her and looks praisingly over you both.
New in town, are you? Working for Nick?
Yes, just temporarily.
Tasha needs a new shoe, and is quite put about it, too. You're always getting into some kind of trouble, aren't you now, little lady?
Esme pats the mare's side with easy familiarity and clicks her tongue. Tasha obediently offers her hoof.
Glad Nick got you over here early. Got me in a good time. Not too busy now. Seems like, Nick has his hands full. Nick's been running the Flying Stag by himself for as far as back as I can remember. He can help every now and then, but they're never around when he really needs them. I hate that he's all alone. He's been so kind to us. Poor fella's been on his own since before I was born. What family he does have left ain't around much anymore.
As Esme moves around the shop, it becomes clear the clever ways the space is built to accommodate her limb difference.
I apologize if I overstep, but it's incredible the way you've made things work for you in here.
He chuckles. I get that a lot, that it's a simple practicality. The rest of my world isn't built for me. My shop should be, at least. Kieran casts a glance your way, and you know he's thinking about your argument about the chandelier. You do remarkable work, Esme, especially for a mortal. Let's get you comfortable over here, shall we? You hush Kieran urgently and grab his arm and lead the mare to the horse pen, tying her reins at a post as Esme's hammering continues. I know you must speak the truth, but please do not let the word mortal pass your lips again. Kieran lets out a frustrated sigh and nods, pressing his lips together. Here we are. I'll need somebody to hold her. She doesn't like this part much. Do you, Tosh? True to word, Tasha thrashes when Esme nears. Kieran captures her great head in his hands, whispering soothing words. Shh. Look at me. We're going to help you, but you must be good for me. Stand still. The horse calms with Kieran's soft voice, slow, steady stroking of her neck. Soon she's nuzzling Kieran's arm, nickering contentedly. That's it. Good girl. Now it's my turn to be impressed. She finishes the job quickly, and as she straightens, she whistles, looking between you. Phew. If I had a man to talk to me like that, I'd probably have that same smitten look on my face that you do right now. Me, I am quite smitten. Kieran smirks at you knowingly, stroking the horse's nose. As am I. Well, ain't that sweet? Feel like I should give you two some privacy. That won't be necessary. Indeed, we don't require privacy. Send you a wicked look, which Esme luckily misses. Well, we're all set here. Tell old Nick I'll bill him later. No need to worry about it now. That's rather kind. He's a good sort. I'm glad he's got you two around, actually. He'd never say, but he's got to be mighty lonely in that big place all by himself. Your heart tugs. You can't help but think of your own parents lost to sickness long ago. I'm glad we could help. Kieran ruffles Tasha's mane. Hey, come on now, you fiery lass. Let's get you home. Later, you and Kieran are helping wash dishes after Tavern's lunch rush. Kieran handles the dirty dishes and tankards with distaste. This is foul. You'll live. I did this daily for years, Kieran. Both of you elbow deep in suds, you scoop up a handful of foamy bubbles and blow them Kieran's way. His glower dissolves into laughter. It's good for you to see how the other half lives now and then. What's that? Nick enters the back room just as you finish speaking, and you scramble for a cover. Oh, just that Kieran came from a noble family. That right. Indeed it is. There wasn't much dishwashing in his childhood. Kieran rolls his eyes, and Nick laughs. Well, making up for lost time now, aren't we? Just been a lot of adjustment for both of us. More so for Ella. Lucky for me that she has an endless well of patience, because I have no such virtue. Nick nods sagely. It's always difficult when people from different worlds fall in love. You speak as if from experience. Nick gets a distant look in his eyes, fingering the amulet at his neck. Nick's amulet looks expensive. It was the same way with the woman I once loved and lost. Seeing two bright young things like you, so full of love and life, reminds me of how things were with us once, long ago. What happened? My beloved left me and our son not long after his birth. We never saw nor heard from her ever again. That's awful. I'm sorry. Your family disapproved then? She had to sneak away to see me. We were
So happy together we fooled ourselves into thinking we could defy the world. But once our son was born, there was no hiding anymore. I suppose she couldn't bear the shame. She returned to her family, and I raised him alone. What happened to him? Oh, he's grown now, off finding his way. He's a good boy, though, although comes back to check on me when he's able, and if not, he sends a friend. Brilliant, that boy is. Stubborn as a mule, too. Once he sets his mind to something, there's no stopping him for ill or good. Principle, you know? Nick chuckles, and then mourning descends over him once more. His mother would be so proud of him if she knew. Not that he'd want her to know now. He blames her, you see, because it's hard to blame the world. As Nick speaks, the wheels turn in your mind with nauseating realization. No, it can't be. Yeah. As Nick likes himself, you send a look of silent horror to Kieran, both of you coming to the same conclusion. Isa's human lover. Could it have possibly been Nick? Hear the tale of the lovers, a star-crossed romance that could never be, and how ripples from the past now risk your own future. The lovers. The story of a fey princess and a mortal man who loved her, or rather a fey who would become a princess, as these stories often go. Young noble Isa was the pride of the Sun Court, a singer, dancer, keen-eyed hunter, beauty in all things. She was the epitome of a proper Sun Court lady. But Isa was born with a restless heart. Life at court bored her adventurous spirit, and she often known to wander the hills and dales, forests, marshes, seeking tales worth the telling. It was on one of these excursions that she spied Nick, a lowly bard from a mortal village beyond the wall. She watched him with green darkness of the woods for 3 days, basking in every word of his wonderful stories. Finally, when his song was done, his listeners had gone back to their homes, she stepped into the firelight. But Nick was not frightened. He had never seen a sight more beautiful than her face. The moment she first smiled, it was as though the sun was shining just for him. Isa loved Nick's stories, and Nick loved Isa, devotedly composing poems and songs about the color of her eyes, the melody of her voice. Soon she was barely seen in the Sun Palace, spending all of her time in Nick's arms. She was frightened when her womb grew full, but she knew there could be nothing greater than more of Nick, the world. Faye never cared whose child was whose. It was the raising that mattered, so long as the child was Faye. But Isa's son was not Faye. His eyes did not glisten. His hair had no sheen. Lord Blaze and Brightness took one look at the babe and declared the abomination must die. Isa knew that if she tried to flee with him, the lords of the Sun Court would hunt her to the ends of the earth. Determined to protect him, Isa took Jack to Nick's village and left him on his father's doorstep. Tucked into the babe's swaddling blanket, she left nothing but a note, an amulet, and a ring. Hope that Nick might know, understand. Then Isa stole back into the woods, where she killed a young fawn and presented its bloody heart to Blaze and Brightness, professing that the babe was gone and begging forgiveness. Satisfied with her display of penance, the lords allowed Isa to return to court. But as news of her indiscretion spread, her friends abandoned her one by one. Not long after, Isa met the sun, or the prince of the night, and fell in love with the moon. Nick was left to raise their son alone, with nothing but a note of goodbye and an amulet to lend him a long life. Better to raise the changeling child. But even when she abandoned their child to his care, he forgave her. He always forgave her. Thus Nick became a father, Isa became a princess, and all that was it should be. But none of it was right at all. That's sad. You collected Nick and Isa's story. Looks like at least 3 more to go. You figure that Nick had noticed your distress, but his eyes are far away, fighting pain and confusion as he begins to speak again. Seeing 2 bright, young loves. Seems like you're so full of love and life reminds me of how things were once with us, long ago. You said that already. I'm so sorry. If you'd please excuse us, Nick. Nick nods, seeming relieved at the change in subject. Of course, yes, another time. You take Kieran's hand and escape with him upstairs to your rented room, hissing under your breath as soon as the door is closed. Kieran, Nick's story is son. It can't be possible, can it? It would make Nick over 200 years old, and thus why his memory's fading him, much like Sir Monty. His memory that explains it. He's lived longer than he should. But you said Fey magic wouldn't work in the village. There is magic that can extend a mortal life, magic that can be tied to objects. Did you see his amulet? Fake craftsmanship. I thought nothing of it until... Red and horror, while shove you as your mind races for an escape plan, but before you get very far, an all too familiar voice rings out from below. Father, I'm home. Well, this will be interesting. Without further ado, thanks for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Add down the description of the video. There are plenty of things to check out there, ways to support, and ways to become more of an intricate part of this community and family that we have here. And there is also the integrated feature on YouTube that is the Join and Thanks feature. Consider using those. Without further ado, let me say the following. I really liked this book series. Really like these characters and whatnot. I understand Isa's story. I understand and can sympathize with it. As a child, that was kind of like Jack, right? That's how I can understand. However, I'm not going on a, I guess you could say, world bending / destroying thing. I can just understand both sides of the perspective. It takes a person to remove all emotion to do so. With that being said, I see possibly a positive outcome of all this, which would be Jack either being made to realize his wrongs. I feel like, you know, Nick painted the story of he's such a good boy and, you know, he's stubborn, clearly, and, you know, whatnot, but I think if Nick was able to help, then we might be able to reach Jack and have a happily ever after, right? Also, the long claw thing, and she was able to talk to Merlin. That was a little interesting. Might be something that you guys who aren't or didn't get Merlin didn't capture, like didn't know of. So, again, I feel like Longclaw's still in there, and hopefully there is a way to break the curse. So far, the only true casualty that we've had is the bad guys in the story, let's be honest, and Sir Monty, right? And in a way, you know, Sir Monty's end was tragic, but if he kept serving the Moon Court the way he was, like, he was already really suffering, and no one was helping him, unfortunately. So, yeah. Anyway, without further ado, thanks again for watching. Catch you all later. Peace out.